wanted to do another edition of Growing Pains today, and this one has to do with how I parent. So I wouldn't say I'm perfect at it, but I wanted to talk about 3 main goals that I have when I'm parenting. And my actions toward my kids reflect these 3 things that I'm trying to instill in my children from birth to adulthood. And we'll go with number 1 is being polite. I have this thing about people that aren't kind and aren't polite, and it's not that I don't like them, but you're gonna get way more from being nice or with sugar than not being nice. And little words like please and thank you make a big difference when you're talking to someone, and just first of all approaching situations nicely versus having reaction and getting either mad or sad or whatever, and then that reaction causes a lot worse words to come out of your mouth, right? So one of the biggest things with my kids is I teach them to be polite. So just using those simple words reflects a lot in them, especially at a young age. Like my son's really good with his please and thank yous. And it just gets him so much farther. People compliment me all the time on him. And it's not that I do it because I want compliments. I mean, that's nice too. But I just really think that it shows their appreciation. It shows that they're nice kids and that they should be respectful. It's also a respect thing. So that's number 1 is being polite. So number 2 is listening. I have a really big problem with kids that don't listen. And it comes down to a safety thing with me and my kids. And if my kids can't listen to simple things when I give them instruction to listen when I tell them to do something, then who's to say they're gonna listen if a car is coming and I tell them to stop or not go? Or so I really am, and it's hard for me too, because you have to be really consistent when you're teaching your kids to listen to you, because you can't just say something. They're not gonna know what you're saying when they're little. You have to tell them no and then show them what no means. Basically, kids putting their fingers in outlets. You can't just say no and expect them not to do it. You have to say no and then take their hand away. And sometimes it comes, we do spank. I'm not gonna get into that whole thing, but we definitely make our kids listen. And like I said, it comes down to a safety issue. But we make them listen to our instructions all the time, so that when in a dangerous situation, they will listen to us. So that is number 2. It is, I want my kids, and I train them. I teach them to listen to me. So number 3 is probably an overall thing that I want my kids to learn and be, and it's to be independent adults. So this is like the canopy, right, for everything that I'm trying to do, everything I'm trying to teach my boys and raise them to be responsible, mature, independent adults. Now, there can be, like I said before, my number 1 was polite and nice, and there can be responsible adults that aren't polite and nice, right? So that is a add on to the responsible adult. And then the listening thing kind of has to do with as they grow up, I want them to be responsible adults. So what does that mean? Because I also enjoy my kids. I like my friendship with them, but I have to walk a fine line because I'm not there to be their friend. I'm there to raise a responsible adult that makes this world a better place. So for me, I have to be who I want them to be. I have to show them good. I have to be responsible. I have to make good decisions. And if I make bad decisions or I mess up, I admit it, because of course I'll mishear them or I'll misunderstand a situation and I might discipline them. But it's my responsibility to show them also that I'm human and that, I'm sorry and this is where I went wrong, and they also need to be respectful to me and listen to what I say, which is why I'm raising them to be responsible adults. Now, that also means teaching them life skills, things with money. So I do my best to try and, they're really little right now, so we're not teaching them money things. And honestly, he's gonna be 4. We could start doing chores with money associated, but we haven't started that yet. But that will be when we start teaching them other life skills to be independent, responsible adults. Along with that comes a lot of responsibility for my husband and myself. we also need to teach them morals and spiritual side. Like, I'm not going to get into that, what we are specifically. We are Christian, but I need to teach them things that maybe they can't see on a daily basis, or that needs to be taught to them. You know, I'm not against homeschooling, and I've actually thought about it with my kids, but we're going to do public preschool. My son's going to preschool this year, so I'm hoping that, you know, the teachers are teaching them in a way I would, because otherwise I might need to take on that role if I don't feel like they're helping raise my kids to be responsible adults in the way that I need them to be. So those are kind of my 3 general things while I'm raising my kids. And it's hard. Not every day goes great. I mean, some days are bad days, you know, those days where you just feel like you're disciplining your kids all day and you're like, this has been a bad day. Like, I felt like I was mean all day. But then there's good days where I have great conversation, learning experience, and things like that. Again, this is why it's growing pains. I'm learning, they're learning, and we just got to get through it together. And any other parents out there like going through these things, and what are your number 1 tips or things you're working on to raise your children that you're instilling in them? Give this video a thumbs up if you're liking the growing pains and you like this topic specifically, and check out my channel for more lifestyle. I always say it, we have a little bit of everything on here, from fitness, growing pains now, crafts, hauls, everything like that. So go check it out, subscribe to my channel if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.